Okay, another good example.
I'm not a committeeman over this.
Another good example. My son, Hinsdale, Illinois. He was in school, and he was 17 years old, okay? Caught smoking. Now, there was a hall monitor passing out cigarettes in the school.
Okay, maybe he was guilty, but the point is
the
fine is ridiculous.
The point is the statute, the actual municipal code says that smoking on any premises in that area is $20. His fine was $2,000. They said he had missed one court date, so the judge
this is the problem I'm having.
popped it up to $2,000. So the thing is that the kids out here, a lot of them, though they're in wealthy areas, there's some kids that don't have the money to pay $2,000.
Kids? I don't have the money to pay a $205 fine plus or court.
You don't? I thought this was a rich people thing.
You know, no, this is not a rich poor. That's my point, and this is what I've argued at some of our local, even Republican Party meetings. Okay, it's fine. We need to bring in revenue. I understand that, but let's be reasonable. And your case is worse than mine. Your son, and I don't have all the facts, folks. I'm taking Deanna.
Oh, I have.
She's a trustworthy person. She's a community activist. I trust that for some reason they just threw the book at her son for whatever reason.
Well, probably
he may have been guilty of smoking,
and
he's underage. That's one thing. I'm not advocating doing the illegal thing. What I'm upset with is the fine and the court costs that we're paying for this.
No, this is the thing. It's even worse, Mario. They arrested him. He was arrested on a municipal code of $20. They took him in a police car at high speeds down the expressway. He hit his head in the car. They locked him up with criminals where he could have gotten harmed. And then the thing is, when I called down there to find out what was going on, they were telling them that they had to buy a special card to make phone calls out, which is all questionable of whether or not it's being a legal issue.
Here's the problem I have.
They'll do that in another county.
I'm glad Deanne came to me. We're airing this as one of our segments of our new show, and hopefully we'll have many more. But even if we don't, I want this to be seen as many places as possible. In the local cable, I'm going to send it to some of my local friends in political office, as well as the networks, because the point is, it's now becoming abusive. I'm not talking against the county. What I'm upset with is the court system is getting a little bit out of line. I mean,
it's a little bit.
It's just like what we were talking about in California. Now we know Illinois politics isn't always 100%, but the problem I'm having is 100% legitimate. It isn't. This isn't a Republican-Democrat issue. This is a
abuse
problem
of power.
I don't even know if it's abuse of power. It's just
it's
people not standing up. We need to hear from more people in the county. I know we're not the only two people that have paid more than we thought we should pay for a ticket. Now, let me bring this up, which I think is interesting. If you don't fight your case and you just pay the fine, he probably would have been charged, her son, with a couple $100, and I would have only been charged $70. But don't we have the opportunity to say we're innocent until proven guilty?
Well, then that goes back to...
It's almost like we're being fined, and this isn't just in DuPage. The problem I'm having is we have experienced DuPage County, and it's a huge fine. But I was looking in the state statute, and we'll bring it up. Hopefully you can say...
But I want to also bring up, there is a
limit of what they should be charging.
But I want to go back to the situation with attorney Richard Fine. This guy was in California. Not only in California, he's world-renowned for what he does. He was from Illinois originally. He's been involved with the law, in politics and things. And he's been helping people out. And he went in because there has been such abuse in the judicial system in California. I mean, I have a friend, Eric Shine. He's a...
Hold on, before you say that, let's clarify from the last segment. It sounds like the case in Illinois was basically the judges were being bribed. We're talking about $46,000.
All of them. Well, the thing, you mean in California?
In California, I'm sorry. In California, it was, just to clarify from the last segment.
Yeah, to clarify what they were doing. And same thing, this is what happened in California not long ago. I was brought to my attention too. There was a judge, family court. Kids were coming in the court, and they were hit with violations, little minor things, infractions of law, Mario. And so what they would do is they would get the kid and charge him with a higher crime so that he would go to a juvie hall. And the juvie hall was newly built, so these judges for the last 4 years collected over $61 million from the juvie court to make sure that every kid that came in there would go into the juvie court system, no matter what. And those 2 judges were caught on that, and they were eventually fined, but they weren't kicked off the bench.
Where else would they go if they didn't go through the juvenile system, though? What do you mean by
I
that?
mean, it was just minor infractions. It was something, one kid didn't even
Oh, they
do
could have
anything.
gone off on supervision or something.
Yeah, supervision, or this one kid didn't even do anything. They just caught him, brought him to court, and they immediately threw him into juvie detention
I
to
think
make
you're
some
talking
money.
to a good person here locally. I am going to definitely bring this issue, obviously, up to the local party, the heads of our local party. That's what people need to do, folks. You need to pay attention to this. You need to vote on April 7th. Before I forget, we have a new election coming
In
up.
Illinois.
In Illinois, April 7th is our local consolidated election. So all your local candidates, your school boards, your parks, your local village trustees and aldermen, please get out and vote and talk to them. Bring this type of issue up. I'm sure Deanna and I and these issues with judges in California, we're not the only people that are having this problem.
And we need to
How many people are in Illinois?
And also, we need to go to these board meetings, Mario. I mean, when you go, there's just the same people that show up. Folks,
I was an advocate. I want to say this, and this is something I've talked about at the party, and just in general to people I know, to talk to your local villages about getting on TV, because it's a lot easier just to watch on TV than you have to run down to the village hall every, twice a month. And we do. Our village meetings where I live are televised.
But just to watch it, I'm saying that these issues are horrific because, again, not until it happens directly to you, the taxpayer, the guy that's sitting there looking at this show, until it actually affects you. You go out of your house just to go get a 6-pack of beer, and some police officer rolls up behind you and you haven't done anything that you know of. You might have a headlight out. You might have a tail light out. Those used to be warning tickets before. Now it's a situation they will charge you a dollar amount, and if you don't pay it on the spot, if you want to argue your right, you have to pay $300 for court fees, and that's obscene. That's totally obscene.
Warning tickets, and we're not trying to bash our local elected officials or our local enforcement officers because they're doing a great job. The point is, some things are getting out of hand.
Well,
and one thing is the fines, our local
don't you
taxes,
think, Mario, for real?
and the fines for these
don't you think
court
that,
things are
we're
ridiculous.
talking about, at one point we were scared of terrorists, and we were going through all these different things that we're frightened of. Don't you think that it would be better spent that law enforcement would deal with more important issues of crime fighting instead of concentrating on poor people trying to get to and from work, or individuals coming out of their house to get food or water or whatever?
That's a way to start. If it looks suspicious vehicle, suspicious looking person, that's just a way.
Well, we mean when they're a minority, they're just suspicious.
It's one thing to be suspicious, one thing to be abuse of power,
but,
and that's another issue that people need to. Don't be afraid to talk to your local committeeman, your local trustee, your local politicians, and even the chief of police,
but Mario,
if they are a victim of this. Because honestly, if we don't start speaking up, and that's what this whole program is about, and many more other than this program, hopefully, you got to speak up, folks.
But Mario, the whole thing,
but
what I'm saying to you on this,
and
Mario,
don't be afraid to speak up when there's a problem.
Majority, you've been in the court system. I worked in the thing. And the thing was, now it's a situation, you see more minorities in these courts. I counted them. I go to these courts. It's at least 130 people in the court an hour. An hour, folks. 130 and multiply it by $300 a fine. Now you think of how much money, that's like 40 grand for one court hour, for one judge, for 1 hour. And add that by 5 and multiply it by thousands of courtrooms. How come they have all this money? First of all,
here's what it is.
Mario,
it's like a tax,
hold on.
Here's what it is. It's
Mario,
almost like